welcome back to Plum Mashable. So I'm catching up with the Memorydex challenge again, finally. This is week 21, Nature Lover. So let's go ahead and get to it. Alright, so I'm going to do week 21 of the Memorydex challenge. I have fallen a little bit behind. I caught up before I went back to work and now I've kind of fallen back again. I'll catch up, I swear. So I'm going to be using two things that I love a lot. I'm going to be using some Planners Anonymous stamps and I'm going to be using my Minc ink. I love my Minc ink. So I'm going to start off with this gorgeous leaf. So this week's theme is Nature Lover. So I have these gorgeous stamps and I have these amazing die cuts from Craft. Sometimes the die cuts from Craft, I find them a little hit and miss. I don't find anything in there that I like. This set is beautiful. I love the colours. So I'm going to grab out this little leaf. As you can see, it needs to be cleaned. I thought I cleaned this the last time I used it. So there's the cool thing about this particular stamp set is it comes with the leaf for the outside and then it comes with the details for the inside. So you put the colour down, which we'll do, and then you put the kind of details over the top, which is what we're going to foil, and it's going to look really cool. So this is just a bit of leftover, it's actually some of the board that I used to make the Planners Anonymous folio last week. I'm just going to use a little bit of it to make my actual card. So I'm going to cut this to 13 centimeters high. And I think it's 10. It's sitting at 12 at the moment, but I might make that a little bit, make that a little bit small. We'll make it to 11. I like to vary the size of my Craft cards, jeez, Memorydex cards, just because I like to have different shapes and sizes in there. It just makes it more fun. And then I'm grabbing my Mowed Lawn and Twisted Citron Distress Oxides. You can use Distress ink for this if you don't have oxides. I just prefer the oxides. And we're going to do some very rudimentary blending. When I say rudimentary, all I'm going to do, I'm going to put the ink on the bottom or wherever the heck I like, and then put it straight into the lighter colour, and that'll give us a blend when we actually stamp this down. So all I'm going to do is just do this in random bits. We're making just the background here. So I'm going to start, I do want to try and get in the corners it to look like, so I can round it off. So I'm just going to stamp that down. That, and so now it's got that kind of smushing thing happening with the two colours, and that's what makes it look really cool. So then I'm going to do the same thing over and over and over again to make this background, and if I get some with a little bit more Mowed Lawn than Twisted Citron, that's okay, and I'm just going to rotate these around. Just try and get them in different directions and with different amounts off the page, and then they'll all have these different blends to them, so they'll end up all looking different. So I always sort of start from either come straight down the top or come in sort of like on a diagonal. There's all our greens on there, and I just love the variation of the colour. None of them look the same because we've stamped them all sort of with the different combos of the ink. I'm just going to give this a nice little clean. Alright, so now we've finished with the solid one, we can start putting these details in. And like I said, we're going to use the Minc ink for this. I'm so excited to be using this in an actual project. Alright, so I'm going to grab the bottle of ink, give it a bit of a shake. And I found in playing with this that it's better to start with not enough on your little mat than it is to start with too much. So I'm just going to drip on, just a little bit. You can always add more. And then grab the brayer out. Where did I put that? Oh, there it is. I lost my stamp block. Whoops. Grab the brayer out and just spread this out. Now I make a lot of mess now when I play with this, but that's alright. So I'm just kind of waiting for it to get a little bit sticky because I found that's when I get better results. So now it's starting to spread out just a little bit. So I'm just going to roll that onto the stamp. You can tell it's a little bit sticky because you can hear it on the stamp. And then all I'm doing is going to put this straight down on top of what I've already stamped down with the solid. And the idea is you want it to be, not quite perfect, but it will give you a really cool effect by being slightly off. Just making sure that that's in the right spot. So, lining it up a little bit. And there we go. So it looks a little bit over the top now. It won't. If you haven't seen the video where I did all my practicing with this, I will link it. It is slightly long though. But you kind of, it'll look too much until we get the foil on and then it'll look great. So I'm just going to go around, stamp on all of these little details, and I'll be right back. Like I said, it looks a bit funny at the moment, but it'll look good in a minute. So I found, this is an update from that last video. The best way to clean this up is with a baby wipe. It just licks all of this up. So check this out. I'm just going to move this out of the way because I don't want it to get dirty or baby wiped or anything. One baby wipe. It just cleans it all up. It's so easy. Now I will say that it is much more environmentally friendly to use the actual cloth, but in this case they get really, really dirty. I'm just going to really quickly clean up my stamp. Now if it's really down in the crevices, that's when you get your Stays On ink cleaner, which is the solvent cleaner, and give it a good clean that way, but I usually find the baby wipe does a really good job. Probably about 90% clean, so that's I'm happy with that. Alright, so now that we've got all of those on, we'll get the foil ready. Oh, so I'm just grabbing the Minc gold foil. I think gold looks really great with the green, which is why I'm doing it. Give such a pretty shine. So just trim out how much I need. I tend to overdo it with the foil. I don't mean to, but I have plenty of it, so it never seems to bother me too much. Cool thing is too, and something that I've learnt, if you do cut this too small, my scissors really don't like cutting this foil. If you do cut it too small, whoops, right, you can just layer on another bit. In fact, if I just put like another kind of foil, like a rainbow foil or something similar on under this and then foiled gold over the top, it would just do the rainbow and then everything around it. So it's a really cool way to use lots of scraps if you want to. You can foil different colours, you don't have to foil one solid bit. So I'm going to go ahead and chuck this through the Minc. I'm going to chuck it through on 5 and I'll be right back. Alright, so run through the foiler, run through the Minc. I'm going to stop calling it a foiler. And then we take this off. Oh my god, how cool does that look? Check this out. How's that for a foil? Sorry, ignore Jet. I've got a little bit of dog hair stuck there, so I'm just going to get rid of that. Got stuck to the toner, I think, before it went through. And the only reason I can tell is because it's white cardboard. But how's that? Just check that out. Now, I don't reckon any single one of those leaves is perfectly foiled, but it doesn't matter. It just looks awesome. I honestly think that's the key to loving this, is to just get over the need for it to be 100% perfect. Alright, so now we've got that done, I'm going to start actually making or assembling the card. So first thing I'm going to do is just grab my tab punch book, because I just want to round off these top corners. I was originally just going to cut this, but I think being rounded will look better. And then these, like I said, are the Kaiser Craft. These are the Sun-Kissed, I think, die cuts. I'm just going to find some ones here. I'm basically sticking with the greens, most of the greens. We're going to sort of make a pattern or something. I'm just going to get rid of that on the card. I'm also just going to grab the punch. We'll do that now too. So I'll just line it up. Oh, just a little side note. Now I haven't quite worked out how to do it, but how good does that look? Now I saw in that Tim Holtz video that I know I've referenced a bazillion times, he used some distressed resist to use this background. I haven't been able to get my hands on the distressed resist yet. I'm trying. When I do, I've actually been keeping some of these kind of offcuts so that when I do, I can actually use this as an offcut. So I want to be able to use the reverses because I reckon they're very pretty. Alright, so I want to use, what have I got here? Tropical Vibes. Oh, I haven't decided yet, so I like those two. I'm avoiding anything pink. I don't want anything pink on here. I want it to be all greens. Iffy on the tree. Oh, 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 oh. So I can put that on there and put the toucan on the top and have that lifted up. And then we could stack some of these leaves in behind it. So maybe not that leaf, that's too bright, that's too dark. Just being careful with the, don't want to hit the notch. See how these sit together. I really like this spiky one. Yeah, that's cool. And then maybe this butterfly on the top. Oh, that's cool. I like that. Yeah, I don't like the tree. I have the butterfly sitting up there like that. So I'm going to stick those down. So I'm just going to use some foam tape for most of this, not all of this. These ones here I'm just going to use liquid glue. Just because I want them to be flat anyway. So I'll put this one down first. And this is where the fun comes with these. They call them collectibles, I call them die cuts. You can just stack them together to make things. It doesn't have to be always quite so perfect and wonderful. Only downside is I now moved everything, so I'm not quite sure where it all needs to go. So I'm just going to guess. Foam tape on the back of this one. I never cut foam tape long enough. I don't know why. And then when I try and cut it longer, I always cut it too long. I give up. So we'll set that there like that, and then we'll put this gorgeous toucan. I want him sitting over the top. I'm actually going to put him up on 2 layers of foam tape. just for a little bit of extra dimension. Now the hard part about that is that he's not as straightforward as the Tropical Vibes bit was, so I have to kind of alter your foam tape a little bit to get the shapes and things to fit. Actually changed my mind. I'm not going to do 2 layers of foam tape for the Toucan because it's just too hard. Goes in the too hard basket. So just assemble this bit. We'll see how we can work that out so it sits on top. So I just want to make that as straight as I possibly can. I'm just following along my sort of line here. And for Mr. Toucan. Am I the only one that when I say Toucan I just think of Fruit Loops? So I'm actually just going to pull this up. It's just a little bit too far to the left. If it pulls up any of the... No, it hasn't, so we're good. Okay. So I can still use that same bit of foam. Okay, so I'm just going to move that a little bit further over. Starting to get somewhere. And then with the butterfly, I'm just going to fold the wings up a little bit, and because that's sort of sitting like that, I'm just going to use just a little bit of glue. I'm not going to worry about foam tape or anything. A glue dot would be really fine, but because I've got this out and everything, liquid glue will do fine as well. So I'm just going to stick that sitting on the edge of the little leaf there. I'm just going to fold those wings up just so it looks like it's fluttering or just sitting with the middle there. And there we have it. Oh, no, sorry, I have forgotten something. I grabbed these. I'm not a big fan of enamel dots. I've never quite understood what they're for. But in playing with different textures and things, with my pastes and stuff, I've kind of started to really appreciate them, especially like sequins, more than enamel dots. But I saw these and I thought these green colours just matched really well. These are from Spotlight. They cost me $1. I'm just going to add in just a couple of dots where there's a bit of space, just to kind of add in another texture, but also to fill up where there's any extra white space. Now there isn't a lot, so that's why it sort of works. I'm trying to, I wanted to use different size ones, but I very much doubt these will be on the website, but I will look for them. Sometimes you can tell just by looking at something if it needs another one. There we go. It's a shame that I don't have yellow, because yellow, there would have been a really cool spot for a yellow dot. Actually, that wasn't even stuck. It's never a good thing. Neither was that one. I'm just going to switch those up and just put one of the smaller dots at the top here. Alright, so there is my week 21 entry for the Memorydex challenge. Like I said, I know I'm behind. I love that background. It's perfect. Because when you're looking at it flat, and I'm hoping that you can see it on camera without the kind of shine thing happening, it just looks like the green and it just looks like the outline, but then you move and you just catch this gorgeous shimmer coming from behind it. It probably just overpowers it, but only a teensy bit, and it's only occasionally. I think it's beautiful. I really like it. It's not my favorite one I've done, but it's pretty damn close. I think it's absolutely awesome. So there we go. I did want to do a video where I showed actually using the Minc ink in a project. I promise you're going to see this come up everywhere because it's just, oh, I love it so much. It's so much fun. If you want to see something else using that, please let me know and I can do it for you pretty easily. You can leave your ideas down below, or you can find me on any of my social medias. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Make sure you're subscribed and make sure you're following me on Instagram too, because I'm posting all of my Memorydex challenges up there whether or not I do them on camera. So if you are interested in more of these Memorydex cards, then make sure you're following me over on Instagram. Hope you have an absolutely awesome day whatever you're doing, and I'll catch you in my next video. Sending lots of huggles. Bye!